Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Does Alberta have the astrology to actually complete a separation? So we're going to look at it here, and I'm joined with Billy DeBacco of Destiny Cards and Astrology. Cynthia and Julia are Canadian advisors. So here we go. Welcome, everybody. Say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hey there.
Billy, say hi.
I waved. I say hi.
Okay.
We're all smiling. I love it.
How was your golf game today?
It was really good.
Never mind. We're all jealous. Okay, we're going to begin out by looking at Alberta's provincial chart, the beginning of 1905 chart. And let me share the screen here. And here we go. Hopefully you can see all of us. I'm new to Google Meet here. So we're looking at Alberta provincial chart, September 1st, 1905 at 12 noon. So we'll go through this and we'll see how is Alberta. And like I said before, Alberta is Canada's golden child. So everybody get the date there? Okay.
September 1st, 1905.
Okay. So we have a Virgo sun at 8 degrees, an ascendant in Scorpio in the Neptune decan at 18 degrees. Their descendant is Taurus, actually, which is quite cool. Me being a Taurus.
Says the Taurus.
Right. And the moon in Libra. So that's pretty good. So we've looked at this briefly before, but we're going to start off is that we have a Pluto at 22 Gemini and Mars at 6 Sagittarius, which is an opposition, but it's a loose opposition. So it's pretty tight, but the things that we're going to find that really play a role when we progress this chart are actually the nodes. So if you look down at the bottom, you can see in Aquarius, Saturn conjunct the south node, but there's actually a sign interception. The south node is in Pisces. Saturn's just 2 degrees away, in fact, a little bit less than 2 degrees, but still in Aquarius. So south node, and we look at the top, we'll have that same effect up top. So we have the north node at 0 degrees Virgo. And when something is at 0 degrees or 29 degrees, we call that in the cusp, and it kind of encompasses both of the signs next to it. So we look up there, that little asterisk with the 3 in there is the fixed star Regulus, which is the royal star. It's a blessing from the king, really, with a north node right there. That's very interesting. And Venus nearby, but in Cancer. So it's still a ways away, but it is in the 9th house of beliefs. How does Alberta think of themselves? They think pretty highly of themselves. They got the sun up there, but they have an approaching eclipse, a powerful north node, a powerful Venus, actually. And that opposition. And there's other points in this chart that Billy will go over, and we'll talk about this briefly, and then we'll get on to the progress chart, which is really kind of amazing. Billy, you're on.
Yo, I know. How's everybody doing? What we're looking at is a sun up on the MC, which is really a prominent position of where Alberta lies in the world and in all of Canada, and it's got a semi-sextile to the moon, and the moon is in Libra, so in the 11th. So that is a fair and balanced thing with the people. So I think that's a very good, friendly semi-sextile, which will help enlighten people that, you know, what they want to do is, I really believe, to be on their own. I mean, that's my opinion. And then in the seventh house, they had Jupiter in Gemini. Well, of course, that's relationships to people, partnerships. And just recently, over the last year, within the last year, they had a Jupiter return, which will help promote more of the relationship types. It'll expand all of that. So the only thing I have to say about the North Node and the Sun, we do have an intersected sign from Leo down to Aquarius. So they do have to find their real, true beliefs through the Sun and the North Node there. So, and Mercury's there. So the thought process needs to be, we need to do this to become our own sovereign state, or wherever they want to go for that. So,
Yeah, I agree. You know, the Saturn South Node is difficult. It's basically saying you have to leave your South Node and go to your North Node.
right.
So you're down in there, and it's in the third house, which could be considered the house of siblings, the house of your other brother provinces, even. So I mean, the impetus in this chart is for them to move, and with, you know, Mars in that first house, they're trying to find themselves, and they've been oppressed by that Pluto opposition for a while. Cynthia or Julia, do you want to talk about this chart before we move on?
Yeah, I like the there's a square between the Sun and Mars, and then Mars and Jupiter are opposite. So we have a T-square going on.
We do.
Adding to that tension for that Sun in the midheaven.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they felt that you know, it's like, you know, since it's the West, it's like somebody who's like pushing the horse on and pulling the bridle back.
I like that. Well, and it is a tough aspect, but I think it's a good aspect with that Sun up at the top. It's like fight for your expansion.
Yeah,
that's an excellent point. And Cynthia, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to add on that Fortuna, as you know, I love Fortuna, is literally in the second house of values. And the part of fortune is right there too, along with Uranus and Capricorn. So it's like, where are you going to spin your fortune?
Ooh, I like that. You're spinning
Yeah.
the wheel of fortune here.
Like once you figure out your values, where are you going to spin it, right?
Yeah, and Fortuna is the wheel of fortune card. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's fast forward till now. We're going to progress this chart, and here we go here. So it's progressed to May 4th of 2025. So now let me make this a little bigger, or a lot bigger. So, okay, Billy, why don't you start with this one?
Well, again, I'm going to go right back to the Sun. It's amazing. It's in Capricorn. Of course, it's still on the MC. And this is, of course, Capricorn's mainstay, you know, government, rise to the top, being seen. And I do believe being seen is what they want to be throughout of Canada. I mean, that is, you know, Capricorn. It is where are you going to go in the world? Of course. So, and then there was one other transit that I missed. Okay. I'm sorry, Ronnie. I got confused there where the Sun and all. But we have Mars on the moon in the 12th. So, and I apologize for what I was doing, but Mars on the moon's in the 12th house, so they're going to fight off those dark hidden enemies, and it's going to power the moon. Yes, the moon is sort of timid with Mars, but that will help propel, the 12th house and the enemies lying deep within, where they will try to conquer what they need to do.
Yeah, both malefics conjunct 3 orbs in the
Right.
12th house. There is hidden enemies. The moon's there in Pisces. It's watery. Who are our real enemies? And with the powerful outer influences of Eris and Sedna in the 12th house as well. Now, I want to call your attention to the Uranus-Sun conjunction with Venus right near there. And if you look down from the 9th to the 3rd house, you're going to see an opposition from Pluto to Venus. It's 6 degrees. It's not super tight, but it's what I call a social aspect when they start to get a little bit wider. And of note, down in the 3rd house of communication is one of my favorite points, and it's the guardian angel Selena, right down near Pluto, maybe mellowing Pluto out a little bit, I hope. And at the bottom of this progression, we have Neptune conjunct the IC in the 4th house. It's kind of like, who is our family? Are we an illusion? Are we in delusion? Or are we in spirituality? Because Neptune can see far and wide, even down at the bottom of the chart in Cancer in the 4th house. That's extremely interesting to me. And as we go up, right on the descendant of this chart is the fixed star Arcturus, which represents a higher power, however you choose to see the higher power. And Mercury in the 8th, we're keeping our minds to ourselves. It's in the house of privacy. It's in the house of adulthood. It's in the Mars decan of Sagittarius. So it's like, we're not going to say it, but we're willing to fight for ourselves, is how I'm seeing that. So there's quite a bit in here. And if you look, the nodes have changed. The south node's in the 11th house. Fortuna is nearby. So is Chiron, the wounded healer. Is Chiron in the pain state, or is it in the healing state? That's very interesting there. I think a little of both, because I'm pretty sure Albertans love Canada, but they love their home the same. I know many Texans that would be proud to just be Texans and leave the States, but they love America. So, there's a lot of things to consider in this chart, especially, the house of hidden enemies. And down in the 6th house, we have the asteroid Lilith. So that's kind of lighting the fire of maybe, I don't want to say would-be enemies, but a deep emotional drive to be themselves. So, and right above that, right on the descendant, is Arcturus. Very powerful fixed star. Let me get a drink of water. Julia, would you like to?
I think once again, it's interesting to see that sun on the midheaven.
Oh, it's exactly.
Yeah, it's
to the
right
minute.
There again.
To the minute and second.
Yeah,
right.
It's
And we're expecting a big announcement tomorrow, aren't we, from Canada? From
Well, from the
Alberta?
Alberta Premier, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
very interesting, this chart. Now, we did put these in a bi-wheel, and with the province in the middle and the progression along the outside. So here's the dates and stuff if anybody wants to check my work. So let's make this bigger. Okay, now the thing that is extremely interesting is that they are on the verge of a nodal return.
Yeah.
And that is key. That is when you come to yourself. That is when you are free to make a new relationship. We're not in an opposition here. People aren't trying to lock us in. You're kind of free. Now, what were the other things I wanted to talk to? Yeah, the South Node Saturn we still have down here. It's still in the third house. A lot of these things have progressed all the way around, like the nodes, moon, sun. Probably, I don't remember how many times in 120 years, but it happens. But we have things coming back around onto themselves and making good aspects. Now, the real cool thing here, and Julie brought this up early, she spotted it. We have the suns trining each other to the exact degree, and the MC down here in the progress chart, in the chart of in the house of values, the second house going up and trining to into the house of beliefs. We believe we have value. Billy?
Well, on the progress chart, we do have a great aspect from the sun in Capricorn to the sun in Virgo with Uranus. I mean, that sits in a good place. The downfall is there's only the emotions of the moon at 9 degrees of Libra in the 1905 chart does square the sun, the progressed sun in Capricorn. So that could be a little struggle with the people, with the soul of the country. So I do believe that the sun is going to shine some light, even though it is a square to the moon in Libra. That will bring that.
Right, that's an excellent point, but squares often bring movement.
Correct.
Even more than conjunctions.
Right.
And what do we have in we got
and we all know we got Uranus that's going to help. Uranus sitting there in Capricorn with the sun. I mean, that's going to change. That will change the game. If it's done properly, it's going to change the game.
Yeah,
what they want.
Uranus can pull a rabbit out of the hat.
No, without question. Presto. Grab the rabbit hat.
Okay, Cynthia, Julia.
I was looking at that natal sun, that the progressed moon is almost like a full moon because it's opposite now, and that progressed moon is with the Mars, so giving it a little bit of a little bit more maybe grit.
Right. Look at that. Yeah, and awfully close with that sign interception.
And the sun is, or that moon is also making a direct hit to the natal Mars in the first house of identity.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, there's definitely movement. And the consciousness of Alberta is soldiering. It's kind of how I feel. I call Mars the soldier.
Of course. I mean, we got a few planets in the progress chart, retrograde, Jupiter, so they have to go internally and figure this out. They don't need any outside help.
Right.
Pluto, Jupiter, and in retrograde. So I believe internally they will figure it out.
It needs to be the people that decide internally. I don't think they'll take too kindly from other countries or other provinces telling them what they can and cannot do.
Right.
This nodal return coming back, I mean, they've really been in it with that 0 degree Virgo and the progress node in Leo. Yeah, they are the golden child. They have the resources. They have the ability to do this. There's nothing really in the law to stop them. If they were to separate, they could not be called traitors because they followed the law. So it's up to them to decide what they want to do here.
Yeah.
So anyone else? Cynthia, we haven't heard much from you.
No, what I was just going to say, because when you're talking about Uranus and pulling a rabbit out of the hat, again, I do think that there are going to be people that are not going to be happy. So I don't think it's going to be super smooth sailing. So with Uranus in the mix, it can be sudden, right? You don't know what you're going to be facing, but I still think they'll power through. But I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think.
Right. And with all that stuff in the progressed 12th house, let's click back to this one.
Yeah.
Both malefics are in here. Now, Saturn is happy in Aquarius. Mars not so happy in Pisces. The moon in Pisces is wet and emotional. But I don't think the moon and Mars have the power to pierce Saturn. Saturn is the timekeeper, and I'm seeing, let's look in here. Let's look at there's the Saturn down here. I mean, the Saturn has it has stayed in the third house. That's interesting, this progression. Some of these things are very close. Usually that's enough time to make an outer planet move. And it looks like it's kind of stayed right near their natal positions. If you look at Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn. But the angles change. The angles are very important. The nodes change, the moons change, and the sun, of course, changes, and it's in a trine position right now.
Right.
Also, Mercury has gone from the natal. It was in a retrograde, but it's progressed into a fire sign, and it's direct.
Excellent.
What was that, Julia? I didn't hear that one. I'm sorry.
Oh, that Mercury has gone from, like, the natal was in retrograde, but now it is progressed into a fire sign that is direct.
Yeah, Mercury and fire going direct. Capricorn. Yeah. Oh, excuse me, Sagittarius.
Sag, yeah.
So
I think it's the 8th house, isn't it?
I think the transits in the progress chart with Saturn sextiling Venus, be responsible for what you do. I mean, they're sextile 29, 2 degrees off, but is a sextile that Saturn will keep Venus and make the right choices, what they really want. I mean, Saturn structures. Saturn in Aquarius is very strong. Venus in Sag, sort of wayward, but I think with Saturn sextiling it, it'll give it a little bit more power to be responsible in their choices.
Right. And it's down there. It's like right conjunct Fortuna there.
Yeah.
So at one orb. So Venus is spinning the wheel.
Yeah.
Now we did do what we think will be the petition date. The due date is 120 days from the election, and we figured that to be August 26th. And if we look if the petition will be successful to mandate a referendum, and from what I'm hearing, there's already enough signatures. So, but according to what Daniel Smith did, to make it 177,000 and extend it to 120 days, this looks like a very favorable chart to do it. We haven't come to see with the progress that we are on a nodal return. Here we're at a nodal opposition in Virgo. Now, so that's kind of tough, but it's not really the relationship with Canada we're talking about. We're just talking about a petition due. And then we have Fortuna up here at the top, conjunct Mercury and the IC of the petition date. I mean, we don't really even need to go in here that much, but all I would say is it looks like with like Uranus, transiting Jupiter, and then it looks like it will be a successful petition, at least to create the referendum. Anybody?
Yeah, I agree.
I also agree. It's pretty cool to see the suns in the same sign from the birth date to the transits now. Mercury very close. So, but that again, the sun will be in the fourth house on that day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's close to the IC. So again, that's where the home is. So we got to fix up the home all the way through.
Right. In fact, I think I have the petition due date. Okay, so here's just the chart of that. So sun in the fourth house. Look at that.
Yeah.
South node in the fifth house. We've had enough fun. We need to get up here to the 11th house of the people.
Yep.
So we're looking. I think the petition will be successful to create the referendum, especially since there's already enough signatures. I think Alberta, just the astrology of the area, the government, the consciousness is strong enough to do that. And when you put the progress chart over the natal chart of Alberta or the creation chart of Alberta, I mean, it really looks like the tumbler lock of the charts is opening something up. So now, tomorrow, we're going to do a video on Danielle Smith's chart. Does she have what it takes to lead Alberta? Or do they, I'm getting personally involved here. Do they have, does she have enough to please the people of Alberta? Is she really for them, or is she just another politician? So we'll do that. That video will drop tomorrow after whatever announcement she makes. And I'm sure it will be some sort of politically correct announcement, not to get too many people upset on either side. Yeah. But people will be upset nonetheless, because the transits of tomorrow are very heavy and intense themselves. So thank you, Billy. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Julia.
Welcome.
And we'll end this video now. And maybe we'll have a better streaming program working in a day or two than just this one.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. But thanks for joining the Green Knight Prime Astrology podcast, such as it is. Okay.